There's a train coming. You don't need nobody to just get on board. All you need is fair to hear the diesels running. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. Oh, there is no place for the hopeless sinner who has heard all mankind just to save his own. Have pity on those whose patience grow thinner. There is no hiding place from the mother of creation. Ooh, people get ready. There's a train coming. You don't need nobody to just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. Give thanks. Yay, thank you. Give thanks. Thank you, Sister Kinamo.
Very nice. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, sis. You're welcome. All right.
Very dope.
Give thanks.
I would like to welcome you all to our fall second of third roundtables against racism. And I'm really thankful that you're all here. I would like to acknowledge that the land that I'm on, called Utah, was stolen from the Shoshone, Ute, Paiute, Diné, and Hopi, and I need to think about that in everything that I do. And what we would like to do next is have everyone post in chat people or organizations that have done good for the world and continue to try to bring us a better world, and we will read those. The first one I'm seeing is Carter Center, Martin Luther King, Anti-Racism Project, the United Nations, including the Nobel-winning World Food Program, Nkrumah, Universal African Peoples Organization. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and review the agenda. First thing we will do is have facilitator introductions, and then I will go over the house rules, which were designed by the panelists. And then we'll do self intros and land acknowledgements by all of the panelists. And then there'll be a background on why we're doing these roundtables, then spoken word, review, plan of action, announcements, self-reflection, evaluation, and then we'll go ahead and close the meeting. My name is Jessica Bronson. I am currently one of the co-chairs of the Green Party of Utah. I was instrumental in reestablishing the party back in 2015. I have also facilitated several of the book discussion groups for How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. And I also participated in the celebration of the UN Conference to End Racism from August 31st to September 8th. And that was in 2001, and we celebrated the 19th anniversary this year. Sidnam, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Sidnam Wasife Curry, very active in the Green and a Pan-Africanist. And I'm really happy to be co-leader with Jessica on this MB21, Ending Racism.
Okay, and now we would like to do self-introduction of our panel members. And I'll just start at the top. We'll start at who I can see on my screen. So we'll start with Ben, Then so
Jessica, are you back?
Yeah, I apologize. I thank you for that because I lost
The
my
guest
list.
panelists to introduce each other. So Ben, can you unmute?
Hi, very good evening, everyone from the East Coast, from New York. My name is Ben Doche Malo. I am here as an Africanist Christian who believes in the unity and harmony of all peoples. And I am here hoping whatever I contribute helps towards healing the land, healing our peoples, and encouraging and provoking harmony among all of us for a better world. Thank you.
Zaki?
My name is Zaki Baruti. I'm a longtime community activist over 50 years. I'm a former educator of over 33 years. I head an organization, Universal African Peoples Organization. I'm a former candidate for governor of Missouri in 1984 and 88, and I shocked a lot of people as a grassroots candidate in 1988, receiving 19% of the vote in a state that was only 10% Black. Also, I'm a former candidate on the Green Party ticket in the year 2000. And I'm a author of a couple of educational booklets, and that's about it.
Thank you. Zach?
Thank you very much for having me. I am a political commentator, indie producer, writer. I run the Last Outlaws YouTube channel. We are on the front lines fighting against many problems that we're seeing in America today. Again, very grateful to be here. I'm also a member of the Hawkins campaign, serving as video production coordinator.
I'm on this Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
I said,
Brooke?
Hi, thank you for having me too. I'm currently living in Forest Grove, Oregon, which is land that was stewarded by the Athalati and Kalupaya people. And I'm working on becoming an art teacher. So yeah, I'm a teacher in training, and I really want to know more about how to create an anti-racist classroom because I think education leads to an anti-racist world. So I haven't really done a whole lot around this issue, but I'm interested in having a discussion.
Kenny?
Hi, I'm here because I'm very interested in the topic of ending racism, xenophobia, and racial intolerance all over the world. I have some indigenous heritage, and it's a little bit important to me that we actually try and get this done in this decade, in this time frame, before the 20th anniversary of the World Conference in 2001. And I think that having these conversations is how we're going to start it and get it to more people. So that's why I'm here. And I also live on in the same land as Brooke, as we are married. So.
Thank you, Kenny. Coro?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My government name is Jose Manolo Corapuna Valdivia, but I go as Coro. Originally from Peru, and I live here now in New York, Levittown, New York, which were the traditional lands of the Merricks. And I'm interested in learning about our work to end racism, and I think we have a deadline, and we should well, I'm interested in learning more so we can work together to end it. Thank you.
Thank you all the panelists. Now opposite, you all met this past Wednesday and you picked categories, questions. So Coral, you'll start with the first question. Kenny, you'll that way. Okay?
What does an anti-racist classroom look like? And Actually, I have attended an anti-racism classroom, and it's just basically, I don't know, the one I attended, it was basically a circle. There were some facilitators, and the instructors, and there's all these activities that basically everybody introduced themselves. It's like a safe space for everybody to tell their stories of what they witnessed or what they experienced.
Would anyone else on the panel let me know? And Zaki, you were an educator for many years. Maybe you can take the lead.
First of all, we have to, for me, when we're talking about anti-racist classroom, in terms of, first of all, the teachers should reflect the ethnicity of the students in which they are in front of, first and foremost. As a former educator, I've always made the point that too many times in the public education system, you have a disproportionate number of white teachers teaching Black children. Secondly, each teacher that is in front of the classroom should be steeped in the knowledge of the worldwide contribution of Black people and be able to really accurately reflect the struggle and the contributions of fighting for liberation impart that kind of knowledge to the students. Also, an anti-racist classroom should have books and other material that also reflect the true history of the struggles of people for the liberation, for their liberation, as well as they should have images in their classroom that reflects that, that whole struggle and a projection of a new world order. So that's what an anti-racist classroom for me would look like.
Okay, Zach, come on in.
Well, I mean, so an interesting point here is I had not known when I was taught in school that the human race essentially came from Africa. That's not something that's taught in schools. I actually learned that from speaking with Jane Elliott. But they don't teach students that kind of thing. I would also say you should have some more community involvement in these schools and perhaps some new regulations to better protect children from discrimination as well.
Thank you. Let me go to Brooke.
Oh, I would say thank you to Zaki and Koro and Zach for your contributions. Also, I do feel like I want to advocate for more teachers who don't just fit the current standard of what most teachers in America are, which is actually young white females. But because I am becoming a teacher, I do think it's my job to really learn about the history of Black people and also to share resources and make sure my curriculum isn't whitewashed and colonialist, because a lot of the curriculum, and I'm going to be an art teacher, so a lot of what we talk about is from a colonial perspective and a European perspective of what fine art is. And so I think it's important to have more voices heard and talk about other perspectives. So thank you.
Ben, Brother Ben, can you make comments or add to the question? What does an anti-racist classroom look like for you?
Thank you. I have to confess I didn't do my schooling or education here in the United States. I'm originally from Ghana in West Africa. I did my first degree in Ghana and then second degree in Glasgow, Scotland in the United Kingdom. I then worked in the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, for several years. So I don't feel well qualified in terms of education to describe what an anti-racist classroom should look like. But if I should imagine one, I'm in total agreement with our brother Zaki Baruti. I have to also add a point. I had a white female teacher in my school in Ghana, West Africa. She was so good with mathematics, I fell in love with mathematics and went to university to study mathematics. So if you have a conscious, decent human being at the core in front of students, even like Brooke or anybody, shouldn't really matter what color of skin they have, but if they are decent, human in their concept, it can impact the students in a positive way. The same way somebody brought up the name of Jane Elliott, they mentioned. So we can all learn from one another. We have the right mindset of equity, equality, respect, decency for one another, so that even if I'm a Black teacher in front of children who are not of my kind of skin color, I should be able to give them balanced education that will make them better citizens of the world, able to communicate harmony, able to respect other people who may not be of the same background as they are.
All right, so the question is about European DNA, and the question is, why is European DNA as an ethnic group so selfish? Why aren't they as people more grateful? And this question is really interesting and important to me because I think considering genetic factors is an important thing in the sense that when you look at genetics, every human on the planet is 99.9% the same. We only have a very little bit of difference between all of us, you know, and it's one of those things where we talk about like personality and behaviors, but personality and behaviors are mostly a learned thing, not necessarily ingrained in genetic data. And so if we really want to cut into like eliminating the greed and things that exist out there, we need to look at what's actually causing those people to be greedy and not necessarily looking at genetic factors, which people can't really control, but look at environmental factors, that nurture aspect that actually deeply affects how people interact with the whole world around them.
Yeah, I think we really, like, going off of what Kenny said, like, we really need to work on like dismantling these systems we have that are like reinforcing these same problems.
Thank you.
And so all I will say is, I think it was Zach who has reminded all of us that our DNAs are more than 99% the same, and the differences that we have as different kinds of people constitute just a small part. I am more towards looking at humanity as a whole. I am more towards being conscious of how I relate to my brothers and sisters who originally owned this land that we are all currently living on. I am more about giving. If we are all giving, it doesn't matter if you're from Asia, you're from Europe, you're from Africa. And I think, again, whether Kenny or Zach, I think Zach mentioned how he learned that all of humanity, the human race, all of us came from Africa, maybe from the Rift Valley in Africa. I think if we bear that in mind, and then we bear in mind the fact that if you believe in God, God has enough for all of us. That is my belief. I don't need to hoard and keep everything just to myself and to the people of my village, my community, or my country. There is room for all of us. In fact, there is enough food, for example, to feed all of us, and so nobody should go hungry, for example. And so if we can all address what is it that denies one brother or sister, because I am trying to keep so much to myself. I think we need to get to that point where, because of my self-interest, my interest, I am not denying other people their right to a good living or a good existence. It should be possible. It may sound utopian, but I believe there is enough for all of us, and there should be no room for greed. Thank you.
Oh, I guess I was to come after Ben. Let me just say, first of all, this is a very interesting and profound question. In essence, why is European DNA as an ethnic group so selfish? First of all, historically, as an ethnic group or a racial group, I think if we did do study, that there has been the European race / white race have killed and exploited more people historically than any other human being, including their own. That's first a reality, I believe, even though we have had inhumanity of one ethnic group toward another. But never in the annals of history, in terms of real history, has that one group been so oppressive to many other ethnicities on planet Earth. So for me, it's either one or two reasons for it. One is, as the earlier speaker said, maybe it stems from a historical environmental situation whereby Europeans who were living in the harshness of Europe prehistorically and had to survive to such a great extent that they became endeared toward violence to the highest level. I'm just a hypothesis. And then it took me to another thing in terms of just creation. Everyone is aware of schizophrenia as a mental illness. Maybe during creation, I'm just offering hypothesis. It was a miscarriage of nature that has caused that kind of behavior to exist within the European race. And with the acquisition of weaponry, that they were able to subvert the world and implement the forces of evil to the extent that has been taking place over years. But that's one powerful question. I wish I had the answer, but those are my pure speculation.
Well, do you find the question still relevant today? Do you still see the kinds of things you're talking about today? I think the historical markers are relevant, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on.
You know what? That's a great
relevance
question.
of it.
The relevancy of it today, if we look at what is happening today, when you look at the military dominance and imperialism of the United States government, guided by racism as well as the economic plunder of the world, it still exists. And when you look at the constant murder and brutality of Black people here in this country, it still exists. Black people were brought here not only on their own, but we are constantly targeted, even though Black people have fought in many wars. Black people, by and large, love America, but just purely because of skin color, that the constant shoot downs and the beat downs that occur speaks to a society that's basically sick, along with being capitalist. And racism is a sickness. It's a mental illness. And we have to acknowledge that. It's a mental illness.
I agree with that, certainly. I would put the American imperialism we see today and in the last many decades towards the military-industrial complex. If people are profiting off of war and death, there's your answer. You've got, huge companies like Halliburton and others who also fund our politicians. I think that's a major concern as well. But I wanted to follow up a little bit on.
But could I interject? And I totally
Yeah.
agree. But those who are head of the military industrial complex are of what ethnicity? And I'm in a total agreement with what you're saying on that point. But
Well, I mean, I think that's less
Okay.
relevant than.
I'm sorry, but Zach, have we heard from you and Coro? I just want to make sure.
All right. So like the European DNA, I'm really no expert, and I've never been to Europe. I lived most of my life in what became to be called, America. And why are they so selfish as a group, or like why are they ungrateful? I really don't know, but I'll tell you that like this year and towards the end of last year, I learned about a document. It's just very briefly, I'm explaining it. It's called the Doctrine of Discovery, and I learned this through the presidential candidate Mark Charles, and it basically talks about like the European supremacy that it happened somewhere in the 1493, and this is kind of like one of the root of our of this evil that that came here to the America, that came to this territory after colonialism and being robbed, not conquered, and putting their their European supremacy laws and rules, and it's all founded on racism and patriarch too. It was all male dominated. Like the Pope, I believe, like Nicholas the Fourth. He's like, it's all patriarchal, and they imposed their when the so-called founding fathers put their rules. There's some reference to the doctrine of discovery, and and even till today, like here in the Americas, we still are experiencing all the troubles that happened, that that's affecting people's life. In Europe, which I haven't been, I believe I've heard that Francis hasn't rejected it yet, and there's work to do.
Damn.
And as far as hello, yes, and I think that like the Gen Z's, like it's not really like, it's more about like this to an understanding, so that then we can all as people like understand our history. And part of this, I actually thank like Mark Charles, who's running for president right now, because he helped me understand this. And if we don't discuss about this, then we're gonna still be referencing, I think, like like the industrial prison system complex, or maybe like our socialist relatives are going to be talking about like how we need to like tax the billionaires and that kind of stuff, and we need to like discuss a little further on that, like like do a little more like unpacking of this, like Mark Charles says, this humanizing legacy of the doctrine of discovery. And I think that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go into spoken word now with zero condition, so we can try to work out our technical problems while we kind of sum up what we went over. Please take it away. Zero condition.
Right, all right, all right. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. What is going on? Are we on the digital attack, or what's going on? Can y'all hear me though?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Just making sure. Honestly, like I really enjoy this vibe. This is a really dope vibe. Like just like minds ready to go and build what needs to be built. So I think this is awesome. Wish the whole world was doing this right now. And actually, even though I have a couple of things in mind to share, I literally want to share something that I literally was just writing now while y'all were doing, because I started thinking about the topic on racism. and I kind of like was just starting to build my perspective through poetry. And so I would like to share that. It's just a real little small thing. So it's not even complete, but I'm just gonna share just because. So racism. Why we racing? Chasing basic, complacent nations. Tragic ending, living brainless. We gon' change this, leaving breathless. The hate that fucked us. Dimensions rising. And so on and so forth. So that's just, I don't know. I started writing something and I just wanted to share that real quick. Now, Indigenous Peoples Day is right around the corner. When is it not a day for that Aboriginal struggle? You know, that's in my mind. That's every day. And personally, I definitely get my hands dirty down in with all local organizations. So I can I'll do one more a whole thing called criminalize. Why criminalize? The war on drugs is a lie. Just another excuse to abuse your human rights. Just another excuse to let the system end your life while they hide behind a badge. Marijuana anthems legalizing every species, indigenous resistance, seeds born resilient to autocratic tyranny. Politicians act like hypocrites, turning people into criminal. The agenda is pivotal, living in a place where thinking critical is unacceptable. They got predator drones to stop us when they start to grow, but nonetheless our roots are here to stay. So clear the way for this powerful strain that will slay authoritarians who try to make us go insane until I bake every cellular receptors in their brain. They're trying to enforce laws that don't really work to destroy the potential of a future with no wars. My back's against the wall cause they're trying to kill us all. Division is the reason that we fall, but look beyond the moment so that we can build tomorrow instead of letting tyrants police us into sorrow. Why criminalize? The war on drugs is a lie. That's what it is. I'm not sure how I'm doing with time. Should I check in with Sydenham? Can she hear me? Or
Okay, I think we are good, but you were amazing.
oh, bless you, bless you. This y'all are amazing. Like I feed off this vibe, so keep doing.
Very good. Thank
I'm
you.
glad you're here and you can share.
Bless you.
I would like a chance, though, to continue some of the back and forth. We got cut off, me and Zakai. If we don't have time now, I would love to have you on my show to continue having the conversation.
Excuse me, we have a facilitator.
Well, we agreed to the rule of rebuttal.
You can discuss that
but
later. That would be really cool. But I'm going to start to go through our review of what we've done.
We're having a great conversation. Got cut off.
Yes,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
Well, I mean, we agree. So let him know what we talked about.
Okay, so anti-racist classroom. Zaki was saying that we need to have teachers that reflect the ethnicity of the students. And I'm just going to go through one point of each person. There was other stuff that was really amazing too. And then Zach was saying that human race, we need more, we all come from Africa and we need more community involvement. And Brooke said we need to learn more non-white history. Ben says we all need to learn from each other and we need a balanced education. And then under the Euro DNA question, Cora was saying we're 99% the same. What the issue is the environmental factor. Brooke said we need to dismantle the system. Ben said DNA is the same. It's how people are relating. Zaki, Europeans killed more than any other race historically. And basically, the whole thing is a miscarriage of nature. And that today, racism, and I agree with this, is mental illness. And then Zach was saying imperialism, it has to do with imperialism, profit of war and death.
Thank you, Jessica, for the summing up. I want to take a minute to let the audience, on the viral audience, can you click on, I think I saw Hyacinth and another person. Yeah, how did you feel engaged? Did you learn anything and what we can improve on?
Oh, I'm really grateful to learn. I learned a lot about, you know, from the educators and just what the need is in the classrooms. And if I could add, the thought that was coming to me is, I know there's rules about spiritual education in classrooms, but I know there's a way also to teach respect amongst all to sort of address this racism if we're respecting each other as human beings. Thank you.
Oh, I was going to say thank you all for sharing. And, you know, I think we need more people having this conversation around the world. So, you know, maybe just we need to connect with other groups that are doing this work as well.
Thank you, Kimmy.
Hey, so the last thought that I would like everyone to know about is I'm a nerd for local government meetings, and if you want to really make quick and lasting change, get involved at that local level, because dude, you can literally change things in a matter of a couple of months if you really push for certain things, and that I think that's a really important thing for people to remember. It's not just all the big votes. The little votes really matter.
Thank you, Kenny Cotto, please. Your 30 seconds.
Oh yes. What did I learn? I learned that that we still need more time to sit down and, you know, more relax and discuss more about our topics. Like, I know we try to do our best we can in this the Zoom thingy, and I hope that we can stay more connected, and whether it's like somewhere else, another chat, you know, keep asking ourselves a question, and talk more about the doctrine of discovery too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zach.
Well, I think the most important thing we can do is to influence people to start thinking about this issue. Once you get people to start thinking, I think that's when everything changes. Is a lot of people are stuck in they're just going through their daily lives. You know, they are not paying attention to the important things we're seeing throughout the country regarding race and criminal justice reform, the need for that. So if we can jumpstart and defibrillate that process, then I think we will have done a great service. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Zaki, and then Ben.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the organizers for this chat for this evening. What I've gained from here is knowing that there are other people who want to see a difference in how humans treat each other, and for a more just and better world for humanity. So, and I'm glad to have met the people on this call. And most definitely, Zach, I'll be getting in touch with you. So this is a positive extension of this conversation. So all I got to say, everybody keep organizing. And my prayer is that there's liberation for our people in my lifetime.
All right, Brother Ben.
I'm filled with gratitude. I want to thank every single person on this Zoom call. I could go on with this conversation for the next 2-3 hours. Number two, anytime my brother Zaki Baruti speaks, I feel like shutting up and listening to him. That is not to put any other person down, but there is a lot that I can sense from him that will help all of us. Number three, all my brothers and sisters of European ancestry, we don't hate you, we don't dislike you, we just want equity, togetherness, and harmony among all of us. if we hate you or we try to dominate you, as we are hearing from white supremacists, there is room for all of us to grow and to blossom and do well. And finally, if you don't remember anything from me tonight, I take you back to the song written by Bob Marley. One love, one heart. Let's give thanks and praise to the Lord, and we shall all be all right. Thank you.
Amen. Sister Jessica.
I've learned a lot here too, and I've been against racism, but I never really thought of it as a mental illness. And I think maybe we need to start treating some of the isms as if they are mental illnesses, and we can get past them, but we need, self-reflection and help and all of that. And I'm just so happy that it's like there's so many people that are, it's like I hear so much about the bad in the world, and then I get in here and see so many good people.
I'd like to just close off by again thanking Waberi, who opened the song, Zero Condition, and each one of the panelists. We will get better at this, y'all. This was our second one, and it will get better. Don't forget, sign the petition, awareness of the doctrine of discovery and repudiating it. Stay blessed, everybody. Till next time, Roundtable out. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
God bless.
All right, good night.
Well,
God bless us
Bye.
all.
Good night,
Bless
everyone.
y'all.
Love you.
All right.
Bye.
All right, stay strong.